I just could not stand her. I had to drink vodka at all costs. And if that meant stabbing her to death, that's what happened. So what? That's it.
What you just heard is a man calmly sitting in a police interrogation room, explaining why he took his own mother's life. No remorse, no hesitation, just cold, matter-of-fact words. This is the case of Kenneth Mortimer, a 40-year-old man who, on August 9th, 2024, walked into his family home in Green Township, Ohio, grabbed the largest kitchen knife he could find, and attacked both of his parents. His mother, Barbara, 75 years old, did not survive. His father, Tom, barely did. What makes this case so deeply disturbing is not just the violence, it's everything that led up to it. The warning signs, the failed systems, the family that tried everything they could. Today, we go through the interrogation footage, the witness accounts, and the police body cameras to piece together exactly what happened inside that house and why it should never have gotten this far.
Since 2022, how have you been getting along with mom and dad?
I don't see why it matters. I don't know why you're saying that.
Like I said, I'm trying to understand the situation.
I don't want to, you don't need to understand the situation. Everything happened. I don't want to talk about it. I want to know why you want to know why.
So, did you finish high school? Did you graduate?
Yeah.
Did you go to college?
Really, a couple months.
Okay, so you didn't graduate from college, either an associate's or a bachelor's or anything?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, how long have you been living with mom and dad?
Since on and off, pretty much for 25 years, but I've been living there since like 2015, pretty much is when I moved back in.
Did you ever, have you moved out to another apartment or anything like that? Where do you work?
I don't work anywhere.
Have you ever, where was the last place you worked?
I delivered food for DoorDash for 6 months last year.
Okay. And that was your only source of income?
Yeah.
How are you, paying the bills now, or?
I don't have any bills. They just buy my food and buy me just my food and my gas and stuff.
Okay, so mom and dad support you financially with, how do you pay for your car?
Well, why are you asking me this?
Well, I'm just I don't know you, Ken, so I'm just trying to get to know you a little.
I don't care. No. Don't try to get to, let's skip that part.
Okay.
Just don't try to get to know me.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
What else do you want to talk about?
Well, obviously you had a rough day, and I'm trying to get to understand why you had such a rough day.
I don't care. I spent 5 months in a psychiatric hospital in Michigan in 2022.
Okay.
So I don't care about anything.
Okay. What were you in there for? Is that why, just because you don't care about anything?
Because the judge didn't like me, and he found me incompetent to stand trial. He just didn't like me.
So you had been arrested in Michigan?
Yeah.
What were you arrested for?
I pulled up to some lady and hit a little dent in her car and told her to suck my goddamn. And she said, lick my motherfucker.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. I live at 3365 Palm Hill Lane, and my neighbors down the street, it looked like somebody ran out the yard. They were on the porch yelling help. It looks like a man was stabbing a lady and just dragged her body back inside her house.
What happened, man? Is your wife here too? Was she attacked? Is she stabbed?
So what all did you see?
I came home, got out of my truck, and I heard a lady frantically yelling, help, help, help.
Okay.
I looked around, looked down. I saw she just come out the door. Guy followed her out.
Okay. Do you know who that was?
I have no idea who they are.
Okay.
All I saw.
Okay.
And I saw she went down, and the guy over the top of her just doing this.
Okay.
And then he went inside.
Okay.
And I'm just, for a second, did I just see what I thought I saw?
Yeah.
I waited a minute. She didn't get up. I called 911.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yeah, 3365 Palm Hill Lane. I just called it in, and it looked like somebody got stabbed down the street. He came back out, yelled something. I couldn't hear what it was. Grabbed her feet, just rubbed her ass inside.
Okay.
Her head was bouncing off the step. The screen door was smacking her in the head.
Okay.
I was on with the dispatcher, told them all that. Then he came back out, had a bag and something else in his hand, got into his car. I called 911 back. The guy who did the stabbing is leaving in a Honda. It's gray in color. Gave him what plate I could get off of it.
Okay.
Gave him a description.
Okay.
That's when I noticed the old guy walking around. He was walking around the yard.
Okay.
It looked like he was covered in blood.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anybody talked to you yet, but who did this?
My son.
Okay, and what's his name? What happened?
He just went crazy, grabbed a knife and started stabbing us.
Okay. Did he stab both you and, is that your wife? Okay, he stabbed both of you? Okay.
Let that sink in for a moment. A 75-year-old man, stabbed 3 times, once in the head, once in the neck, once in the chest, is standing in his own front yard, covered in blood, and the first thing he does is tell the officers it was his own son. Not a stranger, not a burglar. And he raised, the man he had been financially supporting, the man he and Barbara had been trying to help for decades. And while Tom was standing there, bleeding, Barbara was lying on the floor of their home. She had been stabbed twice in the head and once directly through her carotid artery in the neck. Injuries that, according to responding officers, were not survivable. At 4:15 p.m. on August 9th, 2024, Barbara Mortimer was declared dead. The neighborhood was in shock. This was Green Township, a quiet suburb of Cincinnati, known for being safe, peaceful, the kind of place people move to when they want to retire comfortably. And yet, the people who knew this family were not entirely surprised, because this had been building for a long time.
Did you hear anything or see
Tom
anything?
came out and he did blood all over him.
Yeah. You hear him saying anything?
I think he said something stabbed him. Ken is his son's name. He's got mental problems. I think
Okay.
he's in his 40s or something like that.
Okay.
He lives with them.
Did you see Ken here at the house today?
I think I saw him run around and go into the garage area, but I can't see it. You know how many times I've called the police and they just don't believe us. They just don't fucking believe us. They don't believe us. Please listen. Please listen when people tell you that they are in danger.
This is not toward you guys.
No, yeah.
The system failed us.
It did.
The system failed us. I mean, there was threats left and right. We've done everything we could to. It's what happened has already happened. You know what I mean? Now it's just how to deal with the situation moving forward. You know, today she went all the way to Indiana to attend a seminar about mental health issues, because they have been seeing bad signs.
What was her main complaint with you today?
I cut up the shower curtain because the sound of the shower was stressing me out, so I cut a piece off, and then I had to use a towel to put outside the bathtub because water was leaking down. And she found a towel with a pretty soaked heavy towel, and she got upset.
Okay. When did you cut the shower curtain? Was it today? Was it yesterday?
A few weeks ago. I've been putting the towel down to stop the water from getting on the floor outside the bathtub.
And then she's been kind of on you about that for the last couple of weeks?
No, she just found out today that that's what I was doing, and she just got upset and was furious, and she went out to, I guess, buy a shower curtain at Target or Walmart or something.
How long was she kind of griping at you and yelling at you today about it?
I don't know, probably for like half an hour.
Yeah, and after half an hour of that, you got pretty mad?
I don't remember, I just left.
Well, I want to know what happened today, is where we're going.
I told them to shut up. I told them just to shut up. They were just blabbering about something on the credit card statement. And I just told them they weren't talking about anything. I told them to shut up. And then my mom said, you need to leave. She said, you're not staying here tonight. She said, go find a park bench or something. And I told her just shut up again. And
where was Mom when this happened?
Oh my God. They were just sitting on the couch, and she just said, you're not staying here. And I told her to shut up. And I told her to shut up again. And then my dad said, should we call the police? And my mom said, the police aren't going to do anything. We need to call the crisis unit. And I just grabbed the knife, stabbed my dad in the fucking head.
So
why didn't you
want them to call the crisis unit?
Because they're stupid. What do you mean? They're fucking stupid.
The crisis unit is?
Yeah.
You haven't had any luck dealing with those folks?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I can understand. No, I'm sympathizing with you. I can't understand, how you feel. That's why I'm trying to get at how you feel and what set you off today.
I just told you they were picking up their phones to call the crisis unit, and that was the last straw. I had to stay in the hospital, and the first time it was ridiculous, and the second time it was even more ridiculous, and then the third time it was a joke, and then the fourth time it was 5 months in Michigan, which was just boring, and then it was the fifth time, which they called the crisis unit on me, and
Kenneth,
You didn't want that to happen again today?
yeah, there was no way. I was dealing with another psychiatrist. I was not dealing with another psychiatrist, and I have an alcohol problem, and I needed to drink tonight. I needed a drink tonight. That was
He needed to drink. That was his reason. Not a breakdown, not a psychotic episode he couldn't control. By his own words, he knew exactly what he was doing. He saw his parents reaching for their phones to call for help they had called for many times before, and he decided that was not going to happen because being sent to a hospital to treatment was something he refused to accept. The thing that strikes most people watching this interrogation is how composed Kenneth is. He is not crying. He is not expressing regret. He is frustrated, yes, but frustrated at the system, at the psychiatrists, at the crisis unit, not at himself. And that tells us something critical about this case. Kenneth had a long and well-documented history of mental health struggles. He had been hospitalized multiple times. He had been arrested. He had been involuntarily committed. And through all of it, his parents, Tom and Barbara, never gave up on him. They let him live in their home. They paid for his food, his gas, his car. They attended mental health seminars, trying to understand how to help him. And on the day Barbara was killed, she had just returned from a seminar in Indiana about exactly this topic. She spent her last day alive, trying to learn how to better help her son, and he killed her for it.
Where was Dad when that happened?
he was sitting on the couch.
So your dad was on the couch when that happened?
Yeah.
And then what about Mom? What was Mom doing when that happened?
When I stabbed him, she stood up and she went, ah! I guess I just stabbed her. I don't really remember. She just started going outside, and I just started stabbing her more stuff. My dad just kept on sitting there. So
your dad stayed on the couch, and your mom tried to go outside, or did she get outside?
she got outside, and then my dad just stayed sitting on the couch.
Okay. And where'd your mom go when she got outside?
She just didn't make it down the steps. She was just on the front porch.
Did she come back in, or did you?
I dragged her back in.
Okay, so you dragged her back into the house?
Yeah.
And then what was your dad doing at that point?
He was still sitting on the couch.
So
And I think at one point he got up and started walking to the back door, and he started saying, "Stop." He said, "You're killing me. Just stop, please." He said, "I'm begging you, please stop." And I was just like,
what did you stab your mom and dad with?
the biggest kitchen knife in the house.
What, when you say the biggest, about how long was it?
It was like that long.
Okay. Was it like a bread knife or a?
No, it was a big knife. It was a big, long knife.
Where is that knife now, do you know?
I don't know. It's probably sitting at my house, unless you guys took it as evidence.
You thought about doing this stuff before?
What?
Have you thought about hurting your mom and dad before?
No, I'm not answering that question.
Why not?
I'm just not.
Have you thought about hurting yourself before?
I'm not answering that question either.
Have you ever thought about hurting anybody else?
I'm not answering that question.
Why won't you answer those questions?
I'm just not.
There's gotta be a reason.
No, there's not a reason.
So did you know, or do you know that it's wrong to stab your dad?
I couldn't take it anymore. They were just stressing me out.
Well, let me ask you about that. So that are they nagging you to get a job or to, do
No,
that?
they don't nag me to get a job. I was applying to get Social Security benefits. I just told you they were picking up their phones to call the crisis unit. I just told you I have spent too many times in a hospital, and that was it. I could not go back to the hospital that night. I had to drink vodka at all costs. And if that meant stabbing her to death, that's what happened. So what? That's it. That's what you're asking me. I'm telling you, that's it.
Did you know it was wrong to stab your mother to death?
I don't want to talk about that. I don't care. I don't want to talk about that.
Do you love your mom?
I just told you, I have a feeling you guys are just gonna start getting so weird on me. I just could not stand her. I really had a connection with her until she started to act like she was gonna kill herself, and that was it. She acted like she was gonna kill herself last April or May, and then that was it. You need to go find a park bench tonight. You're not staying here. I told her to shut up again. And then I think that's when my dad suggested to call the police. And my mom said they're not going to do anything, just call the crisis unit. And that was it. I just grabbed the knife. And that's it.
Do you remember after you grabbed the knife, do you recall exactly what happened?
Yeah, I stabbed him right. I either stabbed him in the head or I stabbed him in his abdomen, and that was it. And I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And then Mom got up off the couch, went outside. Did you stab her on the front porch?
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it. We already talked about it.
Okay. All right, Ken, we're just trying to put it all together so we can understand. All right. It's hard looking from the outside in. I understand, you've been dealing with this for a long time. So it's built up for you. We've been dealing with, this for a few hours, meaning, we don't know you from anybody else. You're the only one here that we can get these answers from right now. That's why we're trying to do this, okay?
At this point in the interrogation, the detectives are walking a very deliberate line. They are trying to build rapport to keep Kenneth talking, while also establishing the key legal elements of the case. And what Kenneth has already said is deeply significant. He did not claim he didn't know what he was doing. He did not claim he was so deep in a crisis that he lost control. He said clearly, plainly, that he did not want to be sent back to a psychiatric facility, and that stopping that from happening was worth any consequence. That is not the statement of someone who was unaware of reality. It is the statement of someone who made a deliberate choice, and that is exactly what the courts would later find as well. In late 2024, after months of legal proceedings and psychiatric evaluations, the same kind Kenneth had spent his life resisting, he was found mentally competent to stand trial, responsible for his own actions. The legal system, the same one he had blamed and resented his entire adult life, ultimately agreed. He knew what he was doing, and he did it anyway.
All right, my man, I'm gonna buckle you back in again.
Yeah, at this point you're under arrest for murder, attempted murder, and felonious assault, okay? That's what you're going to the Justice Center for. All right?
Why are you guys getting so stupid? Why am I here? Why am I here, and why do I have to listen to you?
Just stand against the gray wall. Here, take your picture.
I mean, who's getting stabbed to death and doesn't get out of the couch? Who does? You're getting stabbed to death. Get out. Run for your life. You're just sitting there on the couch, not doing anything.
We read him as right as he was because he was already spilling stuff immediately, so. Okay.
Hey, I remember you. You remember me one night?
I sure do.
I didn't stab my mom. I had a good time when they drove me up to Michigan, too.
I was arrested about a year ago for his Michigan warrant. He had a felony. And he also got arrested for public indecency at Veterans Park. That was about a year ago.
Does he need to be transported, or is he good to go?
He's probably.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can, does he need to go to the hospital, or is he refusing?
I mean, he probably needs a psyche though. He doesn't want us to take him. His injuries are fine.
If you faggy-ass motherfuckers didn't drive me down to that f***ing hospital the last week of January, this shit would never happen.
One of the most striking moments in the entire case comes not from the interrogation room, But from the scene outside the family home, when the Mortimer's daughter arrives, she already knows her mother is gone. She is devastated, but she is also furious in a way that goes beyond grief, because she had been warning people for years. She had called police, she had raised alarms, and every time she felt like nobody truly listened. Her words at that scene captured something that goes far beyond this one family. They speak to a pattern, a gap in the system that allowed this tragedy to unfold. Families across the country face situations exactly like this one. A loved one with serious mental health challenges, living under the same roof, refusing treatment, becoming more and more volatile. And when those families reach out for help, whether to police, to crisis units, to courts, they often find themselves bouncing from one resource to another, told that nothing can be done until something actually happens. In the Mortimer case, something happened, and it cost Barbara her life. The system, as their daughter said, failed them. Understanding that is not about excusing what Kenneth did. What he did was deliberate, calculated, and cruel. But it is about recognizing that the warning signs were there, and that they were seen, and that the outcome was not inevitable.
What else is happening? You guys made me deal with a psychiatrist in the first week of February. This would have never happened. Yeah, there was no way. I was dealing with another psychiatrist. I was not dealing with another psychiatrist, and I had an alcohol problem, and I needed to drink tonight. I needed a drink tonight.
Kenneth, we're going to take you inside, okay?
You're good.
Now step on out for us.
So should I miss me?
Follow this gentleman here.
August 8th, 2025, nearly 1 year to the day after he walked into that house and picked up a kitchen knife, Kenneth Mortimer stood before a court and entered a guilty plea. He pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter, attempted murder, kidnapping, and felonious assault. The prosecution had initially charged him with aggravated murder, the most serious level, but as part of the plea agreement, that charge was reduced. Even so, the sentence handed down was severe. Kenneth Mortimer was sentenced to a minimum of 45 years in prison. He was 40 years old at the time of the attack. By the time he is eligible for release, he will be 86 years old. Tom Mortimer, who survived 3 stab wounds to the head, neck, and chest, is left to live with what happened in that house. He lost his wife of many decades to his own son, a son he had spent years trying to protect, support, and keep afloat. The neighbors who witnessed it, who called 911, who tried to help, they carry those images too. And Barbara Mortimer, who spent her final day attending a seminar on mental health to better understand her son, never came home.